This was a vacation in three parts. The first week was with Amy in Madrid and Barcelona. The second part was with our dear friend Gary Bortz in Provence and the west coast of Spain. And the final part, making our way back to Madrid, was just Sharon and I alone. The slides are narrated using excerpts taken from my vacation diary. Of all the places we have visited, Spain most exceeded my expectations. We flew to London, then on to Madrid, arriving in Hotel de los Letras mid-afternoon on September 13th, 2013. We stay in Madrid 3 nights, then take the high-speed train to Barcelona, where we stay in Hotel Nouvelle in the Berigotique area for 3 nights. We drop Amy at the airport and pick up a car there and drive to Provence. We stay 3 nights in Hotel Sous La Figure in Saint-Remy. We pick up Gary at the train station in Avignon on our second day in Saint-Remy. From Saint-Remy, we drive across southern France to Hondarribia, where we stay in one of the Paradors for 3 nights. We drop Gary at the train station and then drive to Salamanca, where we stay for 2 nights. Then onwards to Avila, where we stay for 1 night prior to driving into Madrid for our flight home. This picture was taken on our first night in Madrid as we headed out on a tapas crawl in the area southeast of this plaza. Our first stop was Abuelos for their famous camarones ajillo. Garlic and olive oil was bubbling hot, and the fresh bread for dipping was fantastic. Amy strikes up a fun conversation in Spanish with the owner. A small place with an old world atmosphere is a great place to start our introduction to tapas in Madrid. Next stop is for an outside table for salmon and brie and pig's ears and ham on toast. The pig's ears taste a lot like bacon, only they're not nearly so healthy. Back at our hotel at 10 p.m. for a much needed 12 hours of sleep. We sleep in till 10:45, then grab breakfast and take the metro to the Prado. It's such a massive museum, we concentrate our time on Goya and El Greco. Goya's black paintings are the most moving, giving a glimpse into what depression must feel like. We have lunch near the Prado, then Sofia Reina, the modern art museum most famous for Picasso's painting Guernica. Although I read the book about the painting and the bombing it depicts, the painting to me is disappointing. After resting in the hotel, we walked to dinner at Casa Taberna before the flamenco program afterwards. We have a festive meal featuring octopus and meatballs that are delicious. We move to the performance room after dinner and find our seats immediately adjacent to the stage. What a performance to standing ovations. They put their heart and soul into the singing and dancing. We leave thrilled and walk to Plaza Mayor and get frozen yogurt. We are back at the hotel at 1:30 a.m. After our late night, we have coffee at 9:45 in the morning, then take the metro to El Rastro, Madrid's Sunday market. It's crowded and fun walking through. We buy a few things, including a flamenco outfit for Izzy. After shopping, we stop in at a corner cafe for churros and chocolate, a local favorite. The chocolate is like hot pudding and delicious. We drop our bags at the hotel and walk to a nice outdoor lunch at Taberna Real. We walk to the Retiro Park and enjoy laying in the grass on a lazy afternoon. After a short rest in the hotel, we commence our tapas crawl again. We return to Arbueos among two other stops. We have a Tio Pepe in Plaza Mayor before returning to the hotel around 10:30 p.m. One of the fun events going on was the last stage of the bike tour of Spain. The route was about a half block from our hotel and fun to watch. After a good night's rest, we are up at around 8 a.m. and then have breakfast at a local cafe. After packing and storing our bags at the hotel, we take the metro to the Royal Palace. It's an impressive palace, especially the sumptuous decor and postcard perfect weather. I can't find my sunglasses, only to discover they're on my head. Then Sharon loses one of her lenses out of her sunglass that she brought from a street vendor, and when she puts them on, missing one of the lenses, it's somehow the funniest thing. We all laugh till we hurt. We have lunch outside near Plaza Mayor and watch a sting operation on a street vendor in front of the cafe. After lunch, we collect our bags and taxi to Atocha train station for a 3:30 p.m. non-stop train to Barcelona. The AVEA Premier Class train is impressive, surprisingly smooth at 180 miles per hour. We taxi to our hotel from the train station. We then walk to La Academia, a highly rated restaurant, arriving about 15 minutes before they open. Good thing we are early as we snag the last available table. Outstanding dinner and a great start to our stay in Barcelona. Our hotel is on the west side of the pedestrian street in Barri Gothic, or the Gothic Quarter. The forecast for today was rain, so we decided to take in Pablo Picasso's museum. It's a long wait of nearly an hour in line, but well worth it. His early work in particular is outstanding to my eye. He was an accomplished painter at an early age and extremely prolific. Afterwards, we walk through the market off of Los Ramblas and lunch at La Gardenia at the back of the market. Excellent. Amy has paella. After lunch, we return to the hotel and rest. Sharon and I take a walk, then tour the Cathedral of Barcelona. These are gargoyles at the cathedral. More photographs taken at the cathedral. For supper, we metro to near the Columbus statue and walk to an area recommended for tapas. We have a good meal at La Fontaine. After breakfast, we head out early to Sagrada Familia. It's a 45-minute wait for tickets, but a gorgeous day and well worth the wait. The picture on the right shows cantilevered hanging weights that Gaudi invented as a means to design the cathedral. What is astonishing about the cathedral is the unsupported volume inside and how light the interior is and how the light is used. It's an astonishing architectural achievement. Notice the light above the altar that symbolizes the love of God. In person, it is breathtaking. We take the lift to the Passion Tower. This is a view of Barcelona from the tower with Amy. As I wrote in my diary, we have visited many cathedrals and architecturally famous buildings and structures. None of them compares with Sagrada Familia. Afterwards, we take a taxi to Park Güell, another Gaudi design, but lunch first al fresco nearby. This is a picture taken back towards the harbor from Park Güell. The park is free, it's quite crowded and hot. Amy takes a tour of Gaudi's house. We decide to taxi back to the hotel and rest because it's so hot. About 6:30, we take the metro to the funicular to Montjacques Hill and Castle. We walk around the park and take some pictures as we watch sunset. Afterwards, we taxi back to the same area east of the Columbus Monument. We venture further east and stop at a very small tapas restaurant that serves only 3 dishes. We try all 3, fried tiny fishes, tomatoes and onions, and sausages. All are delicious. Next, we try a gourmet tapas place recommended on Yelp, which has a minimum of 6 tapas. We order 6, and they are all outstanding. A great night and send-off for Amy. We check out of our hotel and have coffee and croissants before our 7:30 a.m. taxi arrives to take us to the airport. We leave Amy at the BA check-in line and find it hard to say goodbye to her. We then pick up our rental car and head out to Provence. A bit nervous about the GPS, but it works perfectly. We head off the freeway through a curvy, hilly, small road to Cadaqués, pictured above. We'll walk around town and then have a great lunch next to an open window overlooking the beautiful harbor and town. A windy and fatiguing drive to Saint Remy, arriving at our hotel around 6 p.m. What a great hotel. Intimate and beautiful, with a few rooms around the courtyard. Our host suggests and then makes reservations for us at St. Agnes Hotel for dinner. A feast of beef stew and terrine of lamb sends us to our bed, full and happy as clams. It's a cool and windy and sunny morning where we have continental breakfast at Sous La Figuerie or under the fig trees. The fig trees are huge and loaded with figs. We leave about 9:45 a.m. for La Bas, a medieval castle fortress in town. The village is constructed all of the same local stone and is absolutely beautiful. We enjoy the castle tour, but find the town captivating and a great place to shop. We buy several pillowcases and postcards to frame and gifts for the family. What a great start to our Provence tour. Afterwards, we drive to Arles, a Roman town and park near the center. We have a lovely lunch of sea bream that is mouth-watering good. We tour the Roman Forum, now underground, after lunch, then Saint Trophime, and then the Colosseum. The Colosseum, still in use, was designed so that classes did not mingle and for quick access to the stadium. We drive back to Saint Remy and then rest, then walk around town, notice the signs for an event this evening. We make dinner reservations for 8 p.m. after the running of the bulls through the streets. Not what we would have expected for a celebration in a French village. After an early breakfast, we drive about 40 minutes to Pont de Gard, a Roman aqueduct. The size and precision of the construction is impressive. The Romans were quite advanced in their construction technology and invented a type of cement that was waterproof for lining their aqueducts. This cement uses volcanic ash. The museum is quite good and interesting, but we need to move on so we can pick up Gary. A few more shots of Pont de Gard on a beautiful morning. The scale is so hard to visualize. See the people on the lower level in the picture on the left. We drive to Avignon and arrive 10 minutes prior to Gary's noon train. We walk into the train station to figure out which track he is arriving on and bump into him in the station. Great to see him. Afterwards, we have lunch outside of the Palace of the Popes and have a disappointing lunch, probably too touristy. We take the palace tour and find it interesting, but the architecture dull. Drive back to St. Remy, arrive about 6:30. We have a dinner again at St. Agnes and enjoy a great meal and conversation with Gary. This picture was taken along the road back to St. Remy, and the trees are called plane trees. Sunday, 22nd of September, is another beautiful day. We have an early breakfast at the hotel and then drive to Isles-sur-le-Serge for their market. It was a good idea to arrive early because the market is quite popular and crowded. We buy sausage and tapenade for a picnic, plus small watercolors, placemats, and a framed print. We head for Gourds about 11:15, walk into the town center, and have a delightful lunch outside. We buy a raspberry tart and cookies for our picnic tomorrow. This is a view of Gourd from outside of town. It's an absolutely stunning town and locale. We then drive to Roussillon, famous for its color ochre taken from the sandstone cliffs. The town is overrun on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. We walk around town for a short while, then return to Saint Remy and take a walking tour that shows the locations for many of Van Gogh's famous paintings he did while staying at St. Paul's Monastery that was converted to a psychiatric clinic. Walking back into a town from our tour, we hear announcements over a loudspeaker and walk into a small stadium to investigate. It's a free exhibition of a French bull taunting competition. The contestants see how close they can come to getting gored before leaping over the wall to safety. A fun and unexpected diversion.
Le Grand Café Chassé de Provence porte le placard à 120 €.
Today is our travel day across France to the west coast of Spain. We have picnic lunch at Carcassonne and enjoy the wonderful weather, scenery, and food we found yesterday. We only walk into Carcassonne a short way and then return to continue our drive to Hondarribia. We arrive around 7 p.m. at the Parador in a medieval castle overlooking the harbor. What an impressive hotel and location. After checking in, we walk into town center to continue our tapas tour of Spain. Another great evening walking, eating, and enjoying a wonderful pace of life. Tuesday, September 24th is another beautiful, sunny morning, which we enjoy eating outside in the courtyard of the Parador. To the right is a shot taken of the area around our hotel. We drive first to San Sebastian. There's a film festival going on while we are there. We walk first to the La Brexa market in the old town. This is the most amazing and picturesque market I have ever seen, especially the fresh fish displays. After leaving the market, we walk to the beach and then to the Basilica Santa Maria. We check out the internet cafe where Gary will store his bags in 2 days' time. We have lunch in Constitution Square where we try the local white wine called Chahula, poured from high above into the glass. A very pleasant meal in the square. We decide to drive back to Hondarribia. A few shots taken at our evening tapas meal and walk back to San Pedro area of Hondarribia. After an early breakfast in the hotel, we drive to Bilbao to visit the Guggenheim Museum. The most impressive part of the museum is the building itself. The exterior is composed of plates that resemble the skin of a fish. Afterwards, we drive to Guernica in the Basque region of Spain, and we stop for a tapas lunch. We definitely notice the different features and style of the Basque people. One last night of tapas in Hondarribia tonight before we check out in the morning. After checking out of that Parador, we drive to San Sebastian, where we drop Gary near the city center, where he will hang out before catching his train this afternoon. We then drive about 4.5 hours to Salamanca, where we check into another Parador. This is a photograph of the famous university in Salamanca, where Columbus studied, on the right, and a street artist near the town square working on his daily creation. This is a delightful university town. For dinner, we walk to Plaza de la Liberación to dine outside at Zazu Bistro. A wonderful meal of beef carpaccio salad and then chicken and cod dishes followed by tarte tartine. The entertainment tonight are the students out in force chanting with painted faces, fancy dress, and megaphones. Gorgeous evening out in Salamanca that gets us back into the hotel right at midnight. After breakfast, we start out our day at the Basilica of San Esteban, a beautiful and a moving experience for me. I light a candle for my mom and feel her presence so strongly. We tour Salamanca University and the chapel famous for its ceiling painting of the constellations. We get caught in the rain twice while we are out today and duck in for lunch and then later an early pizza dinner. Coming to the end of the vacation, we enjoy our time together in Salamanca immensely. Up early, we check out and head first to El Escorial, a mammoth monastery and final resting place for a dozen Habsburg monarchs of Spain. A most impressive tour, though we are starting to have palace fatigue if that's possible. Just a nice fall view outside of the lunch stop at El Escorial. Beautiful drive back to our last overnight stay inside the walls of Avila. We are arriving late in the afternoon, check in, and then walk the walls surrounding the city before the rain. Incredible. I've been looking forward to this the entire trip, and the place does not disappoint. We have an early supper tonight at a restaurant near the church square. Several members of a wedding party are dining as well. That gives the restaurant a cozy and family atmosphere. We pack up for our drive to the airport in the morning and then head to bed. Dramatic light before a storm as we drive to the airport. We arrive early and are fortunate to do so because of confusion over the correct line at the airport. We finally make it to our boarding gate and head home through Miami, which is like a third world airport. The driver we've booked is waiting for us in Houston. What a wonderful trip. Well planned and executed, if I must say so myself.